with an incredible design, sky-high load capacity, and unmatched off-road capability. These off-road monsters became the only logistical hope for the vast expanses of Western Siberia. A place where there are no roads, where the swamps can swallow even tanks, where machinery either survives or sinks. Western Siberia, a land of dense forests, rivers, and endless swamps. This land would have remained cut off from civilization if not for the USSR's need for oil and gas. Huge volumes of energy resources fed heavy industry and were the main export, bringing in the foreign currency the country used to buy Western equipment, even grain. But starting extraction was hindered by one nearly insurmountable problem: the lack of roads, which stopped even army-tracked vehicles. In 1978, the ministry assigned the creation of an ultra-heavy all-terrain vehicle to the specialized design bureau Maschine in Tumen. The machine had to have incredible off-road capability and a payload capacity of at least 35 tons. Conventional approaches didn't work. A large body on a conventional chassis would have completely killed maneuverability, overloaded the components, and made the vehicle unusable. The engineers decided to take a different approach and chose what was then a progressive solution, an articulated design. Just 6 months later, the BT-36-1A01 Tumen project was handed over to the Kropotkin plant. At the end of the 1970s, the first prototype was sent to the testing grounds, right into the real conditions of the new gas fields. And it passed the test so successfully that it was recommended for mass production. The Tumen was built using ready-made components from the K701 tractor. They had a hood, a cab, a 12-cylinder Yams 240BM diesel engine with a 22.3-liter displacement, 300 horsepower, and a 16-speed transmission without power flow interruption. Both tracked carriages were powered, each with 4 large support rollers fitted with pneumatic tires. They acted as shock absorbers, with the drive wheels in front and the idler wheels at the back. The rubber metal tracks, 1 meter 20 centimeters wide, provided low ground pressure, so the machine, weighing nearly 50 tons, could easily move across swamps and snow. The hinge between the carriages transmitted power to the rear and allowed the vehicle to turn by bending the body in the horizontal plane. Behind the cab was an 8-meter flatbed platform without sides. A cable winch at the front allowed for hauling heavy loads. The dimensions of the Tumen were impressive. 15 meters 56 centimeters in length, 3 meters 74 centimeters in width, 3 meters 76 centimeters in height, a weight of 46 tons, 60 centimeters of ground clearance, able to forward up to 1.5 meters, a maximum speed of 15 kilometers per hour, and a turning radius of 17 meters. In the 1980s, the Tumen became the backbone of logistics in Siberia. It was used to transport drilling rig equipment, tankers, and containers in places where there were no roads. It was the only vehicle that could operate there. Hundreds of vehicles went into production, but intensive use quickly wore them out. Many were decommissioned. A few are still in operation today. But Siberia kept expanding, the oil fields grew larger, and the distances became longer. And 36 tons of cargo was no longer enough. So, in the mid-80s, a new challenge emerged: to create an even bigger giant. And that's when the Canadian company Foremost Industries joined the project with their legendary Husky 8. The new all-terrain vehicle was named the SVG-701 Yamal, after the peninsula where massive gas deposits had been discovered. The base design was an enlarged version of the Husky 8, but the scale had grown so much that the ready-made components from the Canadians were almost unusable, so they had to develop their own. The platform had a frame structure with the cab in front, the engine compartment behind it, and further back a huge cargo area with a winch. The tracked bogies were attached with massive joints and could move not only horizontally but also vertically, allowing them to follow the contours of the terrain. The tracks were 1.85 meters wide, powered by a Detroit diesel V8 engine with 715 horsepower, the platform was 12.5 meters long, and it had a payload capacity of up to 70 tons. The monster's dimensions are 20 meters and 56 centimeters in length, 4 meters and 70 centimeters in width, 4 meters and 50 centimeters in height, with a weight of 27.5 tons without cargo. It can ford water up to 2 meters and 60 centimeters deep, climb slopes of 30 degrees, and has a range of 700 kilometers. Yamal was designed not only as a truck, there were also plans to install cranes with a capacity of 140 tons. Excavators, fire stations, and even advanced missile systems were considered as well. It could have been a platform that would transform the entire infrastructure of the North. But with the restructuring, the economic crisis, and the funding cuts, everything came to a halt. Only 2 prototypes were built. They passed all the tests, worked until they wore out, and then disappeared. Maybe they were scrapped or maybe abandoned somewhere in the tundra. Today, all that remains of them are photos, blueprints, and memories. It was the USSR's attempt to leave its mark on the world history of automotive gigantomania.